Imagine closing your eyes and waking in a world where wisdom whispers through your dreams. What if the secrets to inner peace weren't found in books or lectures, but in the silent realm of sleep? In Tibetan Buddhism, masters transmit profound truths directly to their students' minds through dreams, a practice that feels like magic but is rooted in ancient wisdom. If you're new to Buddhism, you might wonder, how can a dream change your life? Today, we'll dive into a young monk's journey through a dreamscape of light, compassion, and awakening, revealing how these teachings can guide you toward clarity and freedom. Stick with us to uncover a path that might just transform how you see the world. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever had a dream that felt like a revelation? Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this mystical journey together. The Tree of Awakening. In the shadow of the snow-draped peaks of the Himalayas, where the wind hums mantras older than time itself, a young monk named Tenzin knelt before a low wooden table, his breath visible in the crisp air of the monastery. The flickering butter lamps cast golden pools across the stone floor, their warmth a quiet rebellion against the mountain's chill. Tenzin's eyes, wide with anticipation, traced the intricate thangka on the wall, a mandala of infinite circles, each line a whisper of wisdom he longed to grasp. Tonight, his teacher, Lama Kelsang, had promised something extraordinary. A teaching not spoken, not written, but delivered through the silent currents of a dream. The very thought sent a shiver of excitement through Tenzin's spine, like the first note of a chant resonating in his chest. Could such a thing be possible? To receive the heart of the Dharma in the fleeting world of sleep? His heart raced, pulling him deeper into the moment, urging him to stay, to listen, to trust. Lama Kelsang sat cross-legged before him, his face etched with the serenity of one who had walked the path to its farthest edges. His eyes, half closed, seemed to peer into a realm Tenzin could only imagine, a place where thoughts dissolved into light, where the boundary between waking and dreaming blurred like mist over a sacred lake. Tenzin, the Lama began, his voice soft yet piercing. The mind is a vast sky, and dreams are its stars. Tonight you will not merely sleep, you will journey. Tenzin leaned forward, his pulse quickening. The words felt like a key turning in a lock he hadn't known existed. A journey through dreams? The idea was intoxicating, like the scent of juniper incense curling through the room, drawing him closer to a truth he could almost taste. The Lama's hands moved slowly, tracing the air as if weaving an invisible tapestry. In the lineage of our tradition, he continued, the greatest teachings are not bound by words or waking hours. They flow from heart to heart, mind to mind, through the hidden paths of the dream state. When you close your eyes tonight, open your heart. I will meet you there. Tenzin's breath caught. The promise was both thrilling and daunting, like standing at the edge of a cliff with the wind urging him to leap. What would he see? What would he learn? The questions swirled, each one a spark igniting his curiosity, making it impossible to look away from the moment unfolding before him. As the evening chants rose, their deep tones vibrating through the monastery's walls, Tenzin prepared for sleep with a ritual precision. He lit a single butter lamp by his bedside, its flame a steady reminder of the light within. He prostrated 3 times before a small statue of Chenrezig, the bodhisattva of compassion, whispering prayers for clarity and courage. The act was familiar, yet tonight it felt charged with new meaning, as if each gesture were a step toward an unseen door. Lying on his simple mat, he closed his eyes, the Lama's words echoing in his mind. Open your heart. I will meet you there. The anticipation was electric, a current running through his veins, pulling him toward sleep, not as an end, but as a beginning. The world dissolved into darkness, then bloomed into something else entirely. Tenzin found himself standing on a vast plain, the sky above a tapestry of indigo and gold, streaked with clouds that pulsed with an inner glow. The air was alive, humming with a sound that was not sound but feeling, pure, radiant awareness. Before him stood Lama Kelsang, yet not as Tenzin knew him. The Lama's form shimmered, his robes woven of light, his presence vast yet intimate, like a mountain embracing the sky. "Welcome," the Lama said, his voice resonating not in Tenzin's ears but in his very being. The sensation was overwhelming, a rush of warmth and clarity that made Tenzin want to laugh, to cry, to stay in this moment forever. "Do you see?" Lama Kelsang gestured toward the horizon, where a great tree rose, its branches laden with jewels that sparkled with every color of existence. Each jewel seemed to sing, its light a note in a symphony of wisdom. Tenzin's heart swelled, drawn to the tree as if it were calling his name. "This is the tree of awakening," the Lama said. "Its roots are your mind, its branches your potential. Tonight, you will climb it." The words ignited something in Tenzin, a hunger, a yearning to understand, to touch the truth that shimmered just beyond his grasp. He stepped forward, the ground beneath him soft yet firm, like the balance of compassion and wisdom he had studied but never fully felt. As he approached the tree, its branches seemed to shift, forming a path that spiraled upward into the sky. Each step filled Tenzin with a surge of energy, as if the act of moving were itself a revelation. The jewels glowed brighter, their light seeping into him, whispering truths he could not yet name. "Impermanence is the dance of life," one jewel sang. "Compassion is the root of freedom," another hummed. Tenzin's mind raced, yet his heart was still, drinking in the teachings as if they were water after a long drought. He wanted to stop, to question, but the dream pulled him onward, each moment more vivid, more alive than the last. Lama Kelsang walked beside him, his presence a steady anchor in the swirling brilliance of the dream. "The mind creates the world," he said, his voice a gentle wave lapping at Tenzin's thoughts. "In waking, you see fragments. In dreaming, you see the whole. Look closely, Tenzin. What do you see?" Tenzin gazed at the tree, its branches now stretching into infinity, each jewel a universe, each universe a reflection of his own mind. The realization hit him like a thunderclap. All things were connected. All things were one. His heart pounded, not with fear, but with awe, urging him to keep climbing, to see more, to know more. The path spiraled higher, the air growing thinner yet somehow richer, as if he were breathing pure light. The jewels began to merge, their colors blending into a single, radiant glow that enveloped Tenzin. He felt himself dissolving, yet growing vaster, as if he were both the tree and the sky, the dreamer and the dream. Lama Kelsang's voice came again, soft but unyielding. "This is the heart of the Dharma, Tenzin. Not a teaching to be learned, but a truth to be lived. Stay with it, let it unfold." The words were a lifeline, pulling Tenzin deeper into the vision, making it impossible to turn away. As the light grew brighter, Tenzin felt a shift, a gentle tug pulling him back toward the waking world. No, he thought, not yet. He wanted to stay, to climb higher, to hold this truth in his hands. But the Lama's smile, radiant and knowing, told him otherwise. "You will return," he said. "The dream is never lost, it lives in you now." With those words, the vision began to fade, the tree dissolving into sparks, the sky softening into darkness. Tenzin's eyes fluttered open, the butter lamp still flickering by his side, its light now a faint echo of the brilliance he had seen. He lay still, his heart racing, his mind alive with the memory of the dream. The teachings were not words, not concepts, but a living presence within him, as real as the breath in his lungs. He could feel them, shimmering just beneath the surface, waiting to be understood. The monastery was silent, yet the silence sang with possibility. What had he seen? What did it mean? The questions burned, bright and urgent, drawing him toward the next moment, the next dream. He knew he could not stop here. The journey had just begun, and the path ahead was calling, irresistible, alive, the lake of release. The dawn broke over the monastery, painting the stone walls with a soft amber glow, but Tenzin's world was still alight with the dream. He sat on his mat, eyes tracing the faint cracks in the ceiling, as if they might hold the map to the radiant tree he had climbed in his sleep. The memory of the jewels, each a pulse of truth, each a song of awakening, lingered in his chest, a warmth that refused to fade. His fingers twitched, longing to grasp the light again, to feel that boundless unity that had enveloped him. The monastery hummed with the morning chants, their rhythm steady, yet Tenzin's heart beat faster, pulled by an unseen current. What had Lama Kelsang meant? The dream is never lost. It lives in you now. The words were a spark, igniting a restless energy that urged him to move, to seek, to uncover the next step. He found Lama Kelsang in the courtyard, seated beneath a gnarled juniper tree, its branches twisting like the paths of Tenzin's dream. The Lama's presence was a quiet force, grounding yet vast, like a river that could carve mountains. Tenzin approached, his steps hesitant but eager, his mind buzzing with questions that felt too big for words. "Lama," he began, his voice barely above a whisper. "I saw the tree, I felt the light, but it slipped away. How do I hold it?" The question hung in the air, fragile yet heavy, and Tenzin's breath caught, waiting for an answer that might anchor him. Lama Kelsang's eyes met his, their depth pulling Tenzin in like a tide. "You cannot hold the light," the Lama said, his voice a melody of calm and challenge. "You become it. The dream was not a place you visited, Tenzin, but a mirror of your own mind. Tonight, you will return, and this time, you will see deeper." The promise was electric, a jolt that made Tenzin's pulse race. Deeper? What could be deeper than the infinite tree, the jewels that sang of eternity? The thought was a hook, sinking into his curiosity, pulling him toward the night with an urgency he could not ignore. The day passed in a blur of rituals, prostrations, offerings, the slow turning of prayer wheels. But Tenzin's mind was elsewhere, tethered to the dream world. Each task felt like a preparation, each breath a step closer to the moment he would close his eyes again. As dusk settled, he returned to his room, the butter lamp casting its familiar glow. He sat before it, watching the flame dance, its flicker a reminder of the impermanence that had whispered to him in the dream. All things change, he thought, yet the truth of the dream felt eternal, a paradox that thrilled him. He lay down, heart pounding, the Lama's words echoing, "You will see deeper." The anticipation was a fire, burning away doubt, drawing him into sleep like a moth to a flame. The darkness parted, and Tenzin stood once more in the dreamscape. But this time, the plain was gone. He was on a mountain path, its stones smooth under his feet, winding through clouds that shimmered with a soft, opalescent light. The air was thick with silence, yet it spoke, a vibration that stirred his soul. Lama Kelsang appeared beside him, his form less distinct now, as if woven from the mist itself. "Walk," the Lama said, his voice a thread of clarity in the haze. "This path is your heart. Each step reveals what you carry." Tenzin's chest tightened, a mix of awe and fear, But the dream pulled him forward, each step a pulse of discovery he couldn't resist. The path led to a vast lake, its surface a mirror reflecting a sky ablaze with stars. Tenzin gazed into it, and the reflection was not his face but a kaleidoscope of moments. His childhood laughter, his fears, his fleeting anger, his quiet hopes. Each image rippled, dissolving into the next, and with each shift, a voice whispered, "This is you, this is not you." The words were a riddle, a challenge that made his mind hum with possibility. He wanted to dive into the lake, to chase the images, to understand. Lama Kelsang's hand rested lightly on his shoulder, a touch that grounded him yet urged him onward. "Look closer," the Lama said. "The lake holds no answers. It shows you what to release." Tenzin knelt by the water, his reflection now a single point of light, pulsing like a heartbeat. He reached out and the surface rippled, revealing a vision. A child weeping, alone in a storm. The image tugged at his heart, a memory of his own loneliness years ago, a wound he thought he'd buried. "Let it go," the Lama's voice whispered, not from beside him but within him. Tenzin's breath hitched, his fingers trembling as he touched the water. The child's image dissolved, and with it, a weight lifted, leaving a clarity so sharp it felt like waking anew. The lake shimmered, reflecting not pain but potential, a canvas of light waiting to be shaped. The path reappeared, winding upward, and Tenzin walked, each step lighter, as if the lake had washed away a layer of himself. The clouds parted, revealing a temple carved into the mountain, its walls alive with murals that moved, telling stories of compassion, of suffering transformed. Tenzin's heart swelled, drawn to the temple like a river to the sea. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of sandalwood, and at its center stood a statue of Tara, her eyes radiant with love. "She is within you," Lama Kelsang said, his form now a soft glow beside the statue. "Her compassion is your compassion. See it, Tenzin, live it." The words were a surge, flooding Tenzin with warmth, urging him to kneel, to listen, to become. He closed his eyes in the dream, and the temple dissolved into a vast emptiness. Yet it was not empty. It was alive, pulsating with a silence that sang of unity, of boundless love. Tenzin felt himself expand, his boundaries fading, his heart merging with the heart of all things. The sensation was intoxicating, a rush of joy that made him want to laugh, to weep, to stay in this truth forever. But the Lama's voice came again, gentle yet firm. "This is not the end, Tenzin. It is the beginning. Carry this into waking." The words were a bridge, pulling him back, yet they left a spark in his soul, a promise of more to come. Tenzin awoke, the butter lamp's glow soft against the dawn. His body was still, but his mind was alive, buzzing with the lake, the temple, the boundless emptiness that was not empty. He felt different, as if the dream had rewoven him, thread by thread. The teachings were not lessons but a living presence, pulsing in his veins. He rose, his steps light, his heart full, drawn to the day with a hunger to live what he had seen. The monastery's chants greeted him, their rhythm now a mirror of the dream's pulse, urging him forward. What would the next night bring? The question was a flame, bright and unyielding, pulling him toward the unknown, making it impossible to turn back, the wheel of clear light. The monastery's morning air was crisp, laced with the scent of pine and the distant echo of a conch horn, but Tenzin's world was ablaze with the afterglow of his dreams. He moved through the day like a man carrying a secret flame, each step deliberate, each breath a silent prayer to hold the truths he had glimpsed. The lake of reflections, the temple of Tara, the boundless emptiness that sang. These were not mere visions but threads woven into his being, pulling him toward something greater. His heart thrummed with a restless energy, a yearning to return to the dreamscape, to climb higher, to touch the heart of the Dharma. As he swept the courtyard, the broom's rhythm mirrored his pulse, each stroke a whisper of anticipation. What lay beyond the emptiness? The question was a current, swift and unyielding, drawing him toward the night like a river to the sea. Lama Kelsang found him at dusk, seated by the prayer wheels, their slow spins casting shadows that danced like thoughts. The Lama's presence was a quiet storm, calm yet charged with possibility. "Tenzin," he said, his voice a bridge between worlds, "you have seen the mirror of your mind, the compassion that binds all things. Tonight you will see the source. Trust the dream. It is your teacher now." The words landed like a spark on dry grass, igniting Tenzin's curiosity. The source? The idea was intoxicating, a promise that made his skin tingle, his mind race. He wanted to ask more, to unravel the mystery, but the Lama's smile held him, urging him to wait, to let the dream reveal itself. As night fell, Tenzin prepared with a reverence that felt new, as if each act were a sacred offering. He lit the butter lamp, its flame a steady star in the dim room, and prostrated before Shenrezig's statue, his heart open, trembling with expectation. Lying on his mat, he closed his eyes, the Lama's words echoing like a mantra. "Trust the dream. It is your teacher now." The anticipation was a tide, pulling him under, and sleep came not as a fall but as a leap, a surrender to the unknown that thrilled him to his core. The dream opened like a lotus, petals of light unfolding into a vast, luminous void. Tenzin stood nowhere and everywhere, the ground beneath him not earth but a pulse of pure awareness. The air shimmered, alive with a silence that was not empty but full, brimming with the essence of all things. Lama Kelsang appeared, his form now a radiant outline, less a man than a presence, a beacon in the boundless light. "Look," he said, his voice a vibration that wove through Tenzin's being. "This is the source, the clear light of your own mind. See it, be it." The words were a key, unlocking something within Tenzin, a rush of clarity that made his heart soar. Before him, a great wheel of light spun, its spokes countless, each one a life, a moment, a thought, all connected, all one. Tenzin reached out, and the wheel did not turn away but drew him in, his essence merging with its motion. He saw himself, not as Tenzin the monk, but as a thread in an infinite tapestry, woven with every being, every breath, every star. The realization was a thunderbolt, shattering the illusion of separation. "I am not apart," he thought, the words dissolving into a joy so vast it felt like flying. The wheel spun faster, yet Tenzin was still, held by a truth that was both his and beyond him. Lama Kelsang's voice came again, now within the wheel, within Tenzin himself. "This is the heart of awakening," it said. "Not to gain, but to recognize. Not to become, but to be." The words were a flame, burning away the last traces of doubt, of clinging. Tenzin saw his fears, his desires, his small self, all rising like mist and vanishing into the light. In their place was freedom, a boundless compassion that flowed without effort, embracing all things. He wanted to laugh, to weep, to hold this moment forever, but the dream urged him onward, deeper, into a stillness that was alive with possibility. The wheel slowed, its light softening into a single point, a seed of radiance that pulsed in Tenzin's chest. He understood now. This was not a dream to leave behind, but a truth to carry forward. The void parted, and he stood once more on the mountain path. The lake and temple, now distant memories, yet their lessons alive within him. Lama Kelsang stood beside him, his form solid yet glowing, his eyes a mirror of Tenzin's own awakening. "You have seen the source," the Lama said. "Now live it. The waking world is your dream now." The words were a bridge, a call to action, pulling Tenzin back with a promise he could not ignore. He awoke, the butter lamp's flame a faint echo of the clear light he had touched. The monastery was silent, yet its silence sang, resonating with the wheel, the source, the truth that now lived in him. Tenzin rose, his body light, his mind clear, as if the dream had polished him into something new. He stepped into the courtyard, the dawn breaking in hues of gold and rose, each color a reminder of the light within. The chants began, their rhythm now his own, a pulse of compassion that connected him to all things. Days passed, and Tenzin carried the dream's teachings into every act, sweeping the floors with mindfulness, offering prayers with boundless love, listening to the wind as if it were the Lama's voice. The monastery was the same, yet different, seen through eyes that recognized the unity beneath all forms. He met Lama Kelsang one evening, the Lama's smile a quiet affirmation. "You have begun," he said, and Tenzin felt the words as a spark, a promise of more dreams, more awakenings. The journey was not over. It was woven into every moment, every breath. The thought was exhilarating, a fire that urged him to keep walking, to keep seeing, to keep being. The world was his teacher now, and he could not turn away.